Hi everyone, this is Miss Melissa. It's nice to be back with you again. I'm going to share with you a story called Hello, Lighthouse. And I picked this story because one, it reminds me of the lighthouses that were all around where I grew up in Maine. And if you don't know, lighthouses are tall buildings that have a light on the top, and they're kind of like the guardians of the sea. They help sailors know where there are rocks hidden under the water that could hurt the ships. They shine a light to help sailors figure out how to get home. So that light in the darkness is a really beautiful image, and lighthouses have a really rich history. And the men and women who had to work and live in lighthouses to keep those lights going way before they ever had electricity. They had light keepers that would light candles and make sure that that light was always shining in the darkness. And I picked this story because this Sunday we were talking about Good Shepherd and Jesus being the Good Shepherd and being the guardian and protector of the flock and watching the gate and calling the sheep by name. And it's a wonderful image and memory of protection and safety, and lighthouses give that same feeling to me. So think about that as you listen to this story. Hello, Lighthouse by Sophie Blackall. On the highest rock of a tiny island, at the edge of the world, stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea, guiding the ships on their way. From dusk to dawn, the lighthouse beams. Hello, 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 lighthouse. The new keeper arrives to replace the old, to carry on tending the light. He polishes the lens and refills the oil and trims the burned end of the wick. Throughout the night, he winds the clockwork that keeps the lamp in motion. During the day, he gives the round rooms a fresh coat of sea green paint. He writes in the logbook and threads his needle and listens to the gathering wind. The wind takes a deep breath and blows and blows. Hello, hello, hello. The keeper boils water and drinks his tea as he fishes for cod from the window. He sets the table and hums a tune and wishes for someone to talk to. Every few days he writes her a letter and throws it into the waves. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and waits for her reply. The sky grows dark and the waves rise and crash. Hello, hello, hello. The keeper looks through his telescope. The tender arrives, bringing oil and flour and pork and beans, and his wife. He shows her around the round rooms of their house. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and sets the table for two. The fog makes everything disappear. A bell must be rung to warn the ships. Clang, clang, clang. One thick night, disaster strikes. A boat is wrecked on the rocks. Not a moment to lose, the keeper rows out. He pulls 3 sailors from the deep black sea. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and wraps the sailors in blankets. The sea turns into a carpet of ice. Hello, hello, hello. One dawn, the keeper begins to sneeze. By dusk, he is terribly ill. His wife is everywhere all at once, running up and down spiral stairs. She tends the light and feeds him broth and chips ice off the lantern room windows. She sits by his side and writes in the logbook the minute his fever breaks. The icebergs pass by on their journey south. The whales pass by on their journey north. Hello, hello, hello. Inside the lighthouse, the woman walks around and around the room. Her husband boils water and helps her breathe in and out. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and notes the birth of their child. The sky erupts in swirls of green. Hello, hello, hello. The tender arrives, bringing oil and flour and pork and beans and the mail. Along with fresh books and news from the land, there's an unexpected letter with the Coast Guard seal. The keeper winds the clockwork and polishes the lens, just as he's always done. He tends the light and writes in the logbook, but knows that it's not for long. Together, they watch the horizon. The Coast Guard arrives with a brand new light and installs the machine to run it. No lamp to fill, no wick to trim. The keeper's work is done. He climbs to the top of the spiral stairs and closes the logbook for good. They pack their belongings into the boat and wave farewell to the gulls. Beyond the breakers, they all look up. Goodbye, Lighthouse. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea. The fog rolls in and the fog rolls out. The waves rise and crash. The wind blows and blows. Hello, hello, hello. Over the waves, across the bay, a light on the land beams back. Hello, 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 Lighthouse. The end.
Hi everybody, I thought I'd come to you from outside today, partly because our story is about shepherds and sheep, and so I thought it would be nice if we were outside in nature. So today is called Good Shepherd Sunday, and that's because our readings are about Jesus being a good shepherd and talking about himself as a good shepherd, and also our psalm today, Psalm 23, was written about God being a shepherd. So it might seem strange to us today that Jesus talked about being a good shepherd. That might be hard for us to relate to, but what Jesus tried to do is relate to the people of his time, and so he told them stories in ways that they could understand. So he talked about things like being a shepherd, or fishing, or making bread, or sowing seeds and farming, and things that people could relate to because that was how they lived their life and how they grew their own food and fished for their own food and how they made money. So that would give them a good chance of understanding a little more about what he was trying to tell them. So I have to wonder, if Jesus were here telling us new stories today, what would he relate to about us now? I wonder what kind of things he would tell us stories about to help us relate to his message. It might be something kind of fun to think about. And I would also like to read you a story about Psalm 23, and it's called Found. And while I'm reading this, I'd really like for you to try and imagine what it would feel like to be one of the sheep in this psalm or this song or poem and think about how good it would feel to be so deeply loved and cared for, just like these sheep are with their shepherd. God is my shepherd, and I am his little lamb. He feeds me, he guides me, he looks after me. I have everything I need. Inside, my heart is very quiet as lying still in soft green grass in a meadow by a little stream. Even when I walk through the dark, scary, lonely places, I won't be afraid because my shepherd knows where I am. He is here with me. He keeps me safe. He rescues me. He makes me strong and brave. He is getting wonderful things ready for me. Everything I ever dreamed of. He fills my heart so full of happiness, I can't hold it all inside. Wherever I go, I know God's never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love will go to. I wonder if you have ever felt lost. I wonder if you know what it's like to be found. I wonder if you have ever been through dark, scary, lonely places. And I wonder who finds you and helps you feel safe when you're in those dark places. Thanks for being with me today, and I will see you all next week. Bye.